So you want to date a water sign. You are interested in a water sign. You like how they flow. You like how they are unique. You like their vibe. They have an interesting vibe, an aura that's a bit different. You're intrigued by them. When you look into their eyes, you see a very deep, complex individual, and you want to get to know them more. You want to find out all the details, intricate facts about this person. Well, let's see if you're up for it. Okay? Let's see if you're up for it, because it's about to get deep in this motherfucker. Okay, so welcome to my channel. My name is Tiffany, aka Black XS Rose. On here, we talk about all things astrology, the power of your subconscious mind. We also talk about manifesting, the law of attraction, all the zodiacs, and a lot more. Okay? So, today we are getting into water signs. What are they like in terms of dating and relationships? What are they like in terms of friendship? What do they usually go for in a partner? What are their turn-ons and turn-offs? How do they compare to the other signs? How do they compare to fire, air, and earth? So we're going to get into their habits, their dating patterns, their behaviors, all kinds of stuff in this video. First things first. If you're interested in a water sign, you have to have some sort of emotional intelligence or just intelligence in general. I find that with water signs, they can be deep, complex individuals, and they're not necessarily going to come out and share everything with you in the first encounter. Like, they have layers to them. So they usually take their time in relationships, especially when it comes to opening up, even opening up with their emotions and their feelings. So when you see memes on social media, I'm sure you've seen a lot of them, of like Cancers crying and Scorpio getting angry and all this kind of over-exaggerated, stereotypical zodiac sign stuff, like memes. You have to keep in mind that the whole emotion thing does not come out in the first-hand encounter. It's not instant. Like, when you first meet a water sign, they're going to be a bit reserved, especially with their emotions. They usually keep those guarded, and they're not just gonna blurt out everything like crazy, like in those memes. That's maybe if you've taken time, gotten to know them, and maybe you had a kind of altercation or a situation where someone gets upset or they get upset. So that is just like kind of a stereotype, and it's not always the case with water signs. Like, they're not always going to be emotionally erratic. Now, it depends on the situation and circumstance, okay? But like I said, these people are quite deep and complex individuals. So I find that conversations, like if you're having a conversation with them, it can go on. Like, if they're really into a subject or certain thing, certain cause, or certain topic for conversations, they can really get into it. And I like that. As a Capricorn, I like people that can have intellectual conversations and keep it up and kind of just bounce ideas. Like, I like people that can bounce ideas around and are knowledgeable in certain subjects and things. And also people that can teach you new skills and new kind of trades, or teach you about things that aren't mainstream. So certain history or certain kind of philosophies and teachings that aren't very mainstream. I really enjoy that. And I find that certain water signs can be into that, besides like Aquarius being the quirky, crazy person that's always into things that aren't mainstream. A lot of the water signs like Pisces And Scorpio can definitely teach you about all kinds of stuff that you've never even known about. So these people are quite interesting to begin with. Water signs are quite interesting to begin with. And I have noticed that they can be a bit shy or reserved at first. They are more cautious when it comes to approaching people, or when it comes to building relationships, even romantic relationships. They can be a bit cautious at first. And that's understandable because, like, it is a bit scary sometimes to, like, approach your crush or to, like, ask somebody out. And it is nerve-wracking, so I completely understand that. But, like, some signs and some individuals, some people, they straight up will let you know, like, how they feel in the moment. Maybe like an Aries. I notice with Aries guys, Aries men, like, if they like you, they'll straight up let you know and they'll ask you out right away. But maybe like with Cancer and Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, they might take their time. I don't know how long it takes. I think they want to see how it goes friendship wise. Like, as a friend at first, they kind of like want to just go out with you and keep things a bit just kind of see how you are at first. See, they're gonna be like observing you and reading you, seeing how you are before they kind of get into the whole romance thing. So that's what I noticed with water signs. They do take their time, unless maybe they have a lot of fire in their chart. They usually take their time a bit when it comes to establishing connections with people, establishing bonds. Sometimes some water signs aren't very trusting of others because maybe they've been hurt in the past, or maybe they just are reserved people. They don't want to, they don't like to just share who they are with strangers, or they're a bit guarded with their emotions as well. They're a bit guarded with their emotions. Like, Cancers can have their shell, their crab shell, where they're a bit defensive. They don't want to outright share things with you, and they're going to test the waters. They're going to test the waters and see you're like, they're gonna observe you and see how emotionally intelligent you are, and if you can handle certain things, like certain emotions, or how you're going to react to their emotions. So they're going to test you, or they're going to do things. I notice with Cancers, they do certain things to get an emotional response out of you. This is both the men and women. Like, they say certain things like that catches you off guard, that will catch you off guard, so that you display some sort of emotion, and they're observing what emotion you display. So just be aware of that, because I noticed that with Cancer, like, they're very polite. They're very polite people. They're very friendly. But in the first-hand encounters I have with them, they usually say certain things to me, or they just blurt it out randomly, and then they're watching to see what kind of emotion I display in that moment. So that's one thing to keep in mind. I mean, it's not really a big deal for me, and I kind of sometimes I make jokes out of like what they're saying, or I keep it lighthearted, but I do know that they're kind of observing me and they're testing me. So I'm aware of that because I kind of pick up on their vibe, and I know that they're kind of testing me. I can definitely tell when Cancer and Scorpio are testing me, because they kind of just say things and they kind of just observe. They're like watching me. Like, they'll say something and then or they'll say like, oh, you did this, and then they'll watch for my reaction, like very serious like this. But with Pisces people, I don't really know how I'm sure they have their own method of kind of observing people or testing, but it's not like Cancer and it's not like Scorpio. I think with Pisces, they want to know about your spirituality. They want to find out what you're like in terms of your creativity, your art, and they also want to kind of find out what you think about their own arts, like the Pisces art, their own talents and abilities. And they also want to see if you're a control freak, because Pisces people like to be free. They don't want to be confined or constrained. So you have to be able to like let them express themselves, because if you put a cap on it and you stifle their expression, they're not going to like you, obviously, and they're going to find you kind of annoying, whether that's in friendship, business, romance, family, friendship, whatever. Like, just let them express themselves, no matter how wacky or whatever it is. Let them have some kind of expression, even if you don't really agree with it, even if it's not your taste, or your taste in art, even if it's not your taste in like expression or religion, spirituality, whatever. Just let them be themselves. I mean, once they're not kind of forcing their own opinions on you, or their own kind of lifestyle on you, you shouldn't be doing that to them. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be putting a cap on them, because they're naturally they're naturally expressive, and they naturally have certain artistic skills and talents, and they need to like express that in their lifetime. They need to go through that in their lifetime. Most of the time when they incarnate here on earth, that's what they're here to do. They're here to be an artist and to be a creator. They don't necessarily want to be stuck in a 9 to 5 or a cubicle for the entirety of their life. So be understanding of that, and let them be free with like their art or who they are as an individual. Now, interestingly enough, I was looking at a photo the other day, and it had like the top signs. It had the top signs in the zodiac that would be serial killers and psychopaths. America's most notorious psychopaths, sociopaths, and serial killers. Guess who's on the list? Virgo, Gemini, that's not a surprise, and Pisces. And I don't know which order, but those were like the top 3. Virgo, Gemini, and Pisces. Imagine Pisces. But the thing with Pisces is that I notice they can have a bit of a like sometimes erratic emotions. So you don't know when they're gonna come at you. You don't know when they're gonna leave. You don't know what they're gonna do in terms of their art or expression. It's really random, but they were on that list. And yes, Pisces do have a dark side that people don't really talk about that much, but they do have a dark side, and it could be scary. It could be scary because you don't know what to expect. You don't know what kind of crazy plan they have in store for you. So even if they're not like a crazy psychopath serial killer, like, but they display their shadow side to you, you can still be very frightened, very scared, because it throws you off guard for sure. Because you might think, oh, this sweet innocent Pisces, they're just so amazing. But when they display their dark side, their shadow side, I mean, it's a whole entity that is just beyond this world, and it's really scary. So I'd say, if you're with a Pisces and you want like a stable relationship, you don't want the roller coaster relationship, if you want a stable relationship, be aware if the Pisces person is taking substances, because I find with Pisces people, they don't really do well if they're overdoing alcohol or certain substances. They do get a bit erratic. And maybe there's some Pisces that can control themselves. They've, self-mastered, and they're kind of in control, even like they train their body, they can handle it, But I find that personally, the Pisces people I know that have taken certain substances haven't really ended up in good situations, and they ended up in kind of bad circumstances after they took certain substances. Even alcohol, yes, they did end up like kind of going to the hospital, getting into fights, stuff like that, getting into arguments with people, and ending up like having to break their relationship, cut off their relationships with other people, or breaking up with their partners. So that's just something to keep in mind. And like I said, I know certain Pisces can definitely handle substances. I'm not gonna like stereotype, because I know that there are some that don't, that can handle alcohol just like anybody else. So I'm aware of that, definitely. Okay, what do water signs usually go for in a person? Obviously, that's going to vary depending on the water sign. For Cancer people, Cancers like loyal people, loyal friends. So if you want to hang out with them and all that, they want you to be there on time and not let them down. Like, don't do the last minute canceling and showing up late, like really, really late to an event or something that they have planned, because it matters to them that like you show up and you show out, like you show your support, because they do want your support. They like people that are there for them, because they are so caring. Usually they care deeply about people, so they want you to care about them as well. Don't be selfish, don't hold back, because they're so giving and they want to give to you, but you also have to give to them. You need to show, especially like the emotions and all that. Either you be stable, like be solid and stable as a rock for them, or you kind of exchange emotions with them and exchange your feelings with them. They need to reciprocate certain energy with them, and they won't really open up with their emotions right away. Like I said before, they do take their time. They can be a bit guarded at first, and they might say things to see how you react emotionally, just so like they can kind of feel comfortable with sharing their emotions. They want to see, like, are you okay handling emotions? Are you okay dealing with the emotions of like life and circumstances, situations? Are you okay like being emotionally vulnerable? Because for some people that's kind of difficult. And also some Cancers just might be testing you, because if the Cancer is an unhealthy Cancer, they can be emotionally manipulative. So that's where you have to be careful, because I know, like I was saying, share your emotions with a Cancer, but sometimes they can use it against you if they want to be mean, or they just having a bad day, or they are in their kind of more shadow aspect of self, more shadow dark side. They might use emotions against you. So that's just something to be aware of, because on my channel, like, I am going to keep it real. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I'm going to keep it real. So Cancers can emotionally manipulate people if they feel like it. That's one of their, if they want to get revenge, that's how a Cancer would get revenge. They kind of also they might make you even like question yourself. So they kind of get into your head, because they know what they've been observing you the whole time and how you react emotionally. So they know how to get into your head and make you think a certain way, make you feel a certain way. And then that's when they have you. That's when they caught you like that, because they've been studying you. They know what makes you tick. They know how to get inside your head and make you annoyed or angry, whatever emotion they want to get out of you. So just be aware of that. Don't tolerate any bullshit from anyone in this day and age. Like, if someone's being unhealthy and you haven't been able to work things out in that relationship, don't bother sticking around. If it's kind of doing more harm than good. If the Cancer is healthy, there's not going to be that much of that. You might get into an argument here and there, because arguments happen in life, and it's normal to disagree with your partners or friends. Like, it's normal to just have different opinions and even sometimes arguments and disagree, but it takes a kind of more mature attitude to get over that and move on with the relationship and not kind of be petty and dwell on the past or certain arguments. Like, if you want to move forward with the relationship still, both parties are going to have to be mature and move along and get over it, basically. If you want to keep things in the petty stage and go over and replay the whole drama argument situation, you can do that. But I mean, it's not going to take you anywhere. It's just going to waste your time, both of your time. So yeah, that's just something to be aware of. And Cancer people, like I said, they like emotionally stable people, or they like people that are more grounded sometimes, so they can do well with some of the earth signs. They can do well with Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Cancers can also be good with other water signs, all the signs, but maybe some of the fire signs might have difficulty dating Cancer. Some fire signs might have difficulty dating Cancer because I find with fire signs, sometimes they can just say things in the moment, like blurt out things in the moment, and it might not be appropriate. Like, a Cancer might not find it appropriate, or might even be offended by what the fire sign has to say. And so when the fire sign just says something, like right off the bat, the Cancer's like, you're really rude. Like, you're rude and loud and obnoxious. I forgot to mention, I noticed that with water signs, they don't really like loud noise that much. Like, sure, there might be some water signs that like the emo, screamo, hardcore rock music and all this, or crazy ass rock music, crazy loud trap music, but like when you're in a relationship, I mean, I find that they're more chill kind of people. Like, even if they're at a party and all that, they're still a bit more chill. Like, they're not going to go crazy like, yeah, like a fire sign, or be talking like Gemini, oh my gosh. And I find water sign people are just a bit more chill and relaxed, relaxed vibes. They have relaxed vibes. And yeah, so this is a glossy watery lip gloss. Clear gloss. Anywho, so yeah, that's Cancer. I might add some more details to Cancer if I can think of it, or that could just be for another video. But Pisces people, how do you attract or intrigue a Pisces? I find that with Pisces people, you have to have something different about you. I find like when it comes to them dating somebody, they don't necessarily go for the straight cut typical person. Some Pisces people do like someone that's a bit unique, that has a bit of flair or edge to them. They can get bored easily sometimes, or they don't like routine that much. So you do have to switch it up a bit, even if you're someone that's traditional or an earth sign, maybe Virgo, just be able to switch things up. Don't get too stuck in routines. Try something new once in a while, and even when you're with them, don't do the same thing over and over. Go to the same places, hang out with the same people. I find with Pisces, they like a bit of change, they like a bit of switch up. And just because the Pisces might have a childish kind of personality, or kind of have that inner child, like embracing their inner child with their art and all that, doesn't mean they're not a serious individual that doesn't have any kind of goals or ambitions. So don't kind of like, be careful what you say to them, be careful like how you act around them, because sometimes if you say the wrong thing, it could throw them off, and they might take offense to what you said and all that, because you didn't really think it through. You said it in the moment. So just be aware, because they are a bit sensitive. Sometimes you might not know that they feel a bit sensitive to things that you're saying, because they don't usually, like, I find that with Pisces, I don't know if they are feeling kind of emotional or feeling kind of like sensitive. I don't know when they're feeling sensitive, so it can kind of throw people off guard, because they might feel very comfortable around the Pisces. I noticed another thing, people feel very comfortable around Pisces people, and they share all their stories and things with the Pisces, because Pisces people seem very approachable. They seem very level-headed. They even seem more approachable than Scorpio and Cancer. Like, out of all the water signs, I find Pisces people can seem the most approachable out of all the water signs. For some reason, they have this energy that's very interesting and magnetic. It kind of draws you in. So their energy kind of draws you in. You just want to find out more about the Pisces and what they're into. So yeah, obviously the whole kind of drawing people to them, I mean, that's why they need to kind of filter the people that come into their circle, or filter the people that come into their life, because not everyone comes into your life with good intentions. Not everyone comes into your life with good intentions. So I find with Pisces people, they need to be careful and be aware of who's coming into their life, because just because someone's into the same things that you're into, or has the same kind of lifestyle, or is someone that's very attractive to you and all that, take your time, Pisces, and observe them some more before you let them into your life, and before you start to form a bond and connection with them. And that doesn't mean you have to have your guard up and be scared, or no. Just be aware of, like, just test people a bit, see how they are, and because people come into your life and they're smiling and happy and I'm so and so, doesn't mean that they're necessarily a good person and all that. And there are times when people do take advantage of Pisces or certain kinds of artists and stuff. I hear it all the time. They take advantage, or they kind of manipulate them and all that. So you need to be aware, because I noticed, like, with my Pisces rising, some people think that they're like, oh, you're just a little girl, you don't have any kind of backbone to you. But I do, because I'm a Capricorn, so my backbone is very sharp and it's very pointy, and you do not want to run into it, because it's like a knife that's going to stab right through you. So just don't even bother. If you look at Pisces celebrities like Rihanna and these people, they're very attractive. Their energy is just magnetic. You're drawn to them, and they have a unique vibe. So obviously people find Pisces very attractive. They find Pisces people unique and interesting, and that's why Pisces have to filter through the people, and they're watching to see if you're very control freak. They're watching to see if you're a very judgmental person, or if you're more carefree. You can go with the flow. You can you have some kind of artistic elements or expression about you, or something about you where you kind of just let your artistic talent come out without fear and judgment. Like, a Pisces wants to kind of see if you're able to do certain things like that, if you're able to be yourself, your authentic self. Now, sometimes people do say, and I've noticed this myself, that Pisces can get stuck in la la land or fairyland and not come back down to reality, because they like to escape into their art, they like to escape into their creations, and they don't want to deal with reality. And I see both sides to the argument, or both sides of the story, because I know that society sometimes they want to mold and form people into one way of thinking or one path. Like, you must follow this path in life because this is the path that everyone has followed. Everyone has done it this way. So, and I understand, like, people say this way, no one has fallen off this way. People have done well this way. People have achieved things this way, and that's why I recommend it. I understand society saying that. But then when the Pisces says this is a bit of a restrictive way, yes, I might be able to do certain things, but this way restricts me. It's not like if I go in this way, I basically lose all of my my personality, my expression, my soul essence. I lose my soul essence. I lose my artistic vision. So yes, I can go this way, but this way isn't me. And I know people have gone this way before. And I know they've done well in this way. And I could even do well myself in this way. But this way is not me. So I understand both sides of the argument, because as an earth sign, I understand tradition. I like certain traditions. Even though I do have water in my chart, I do still have a lot of earth in my chart, a lot of Capricorn in my chart. So I understand traditions, and I understand certain cultural norms, certain cultural values. Certain foods I make, I do make certain foods from my culture. I keep certain traditions alive in my family. I go back to certain traditions, even go back in time and revisit certain traditions, and I practice it. So I understand traditional things, but at the same time, I don't restrict myself to it. I don't say, hey, this is me. I'm going to box myself into these traditions. I'm going to box myself. Because I've kept an open mind, and I've grown, and I've developed into my own person as an adult. It took time when I was younger. When you're younger and you're in school, you're kind of learning about what you like, what you dislike, who you are as an individual. So I did take my time finding myself, and I'm still probably finding myself because I'm still a bit young, but things have been a bit solidified in who I am so far. So I understand both sides. However, with Pisces, sometimes it can be difficult because they truly just want to be who they are. And sometimes it could be difficult depending on their culture, depending on where they grew up, who their teachers were, what kind of school they went to, and also with their parents. If their parents weren't really understanding of them and their quirks, and they wanted to stamp out the quirks, or they just kind of were a bit judgmental. The Pisces might have some issues, or might have some problems because of that. It's really unfortunate, but it is what it is. And sometimes in certain societies they don't really cater towards that. You have to do certain things, if you're female, or if you're this, that, the other. So it really depends. But as the Pisces gets older and can kind of maybe free themselves a bit, if they're in a constrictive environment or controlled environment, maybe when they get older they can work things out and break out of that, and then be who they are and whatnot. But yeah, I know that some people say, oh, Pisces might get stuck in their imaginations and they can't deal with reality. And yeah, sometimes you do need to deal with reality. Like, you need to kind of do certain things to survive, or you need to pay bills, you need to go grocery shopping. I guess that's reality. And I don't know how mundane and boring these things can be. Yes, it can be boring, but life is what you make of it. So if you decide that you're going to have a boring, shitty day, then your day is going to end up boring and shitty, because you already decided when you woke up it was going to be like that. If you woke up in the morning and you said, today's going to be a great day, even if I'm doing mundane things like going to the bank, even if I'm doing mundane things like walking my dog, picking up my dog's poop, going to the grocery. You know, it's like life is what you make of it. What if you decide to like go to the grocery with your best friend? You haven't seen this friend in like months and all that, and you finally decide to meet up, but this time you're just going to the grocery. But then you're talking about all kinds of shit you used to do in high school with this friend, and like what you used to wear, what you used to listen to, how you used to do your makeup, and it ends up being a really great date, even though you were just at the grocery buying canned tuna, buying cheese and Doritos and all this madness, but you're just having a fun time at the grocery, living it up. You know, it's just, life is what you make of it. You don't have to go travel halfway across the world with that same friend. You can still have fun at the grocery. And then you can also plan a trip and travel wherever and then have a great time there too. Life is what you make of it. So, I find with Pisces, sometimes they can be in a mundane, boring ass place, but they add some life. They add some texture and some color to that environment. They add a more unique perspective. And sometimes a Pisces doesn't want to share what they're into right away, because they don't know if you're going to be judgmental. They don't know if you're the type of person that is gonna like laugh, oh ha ha ha, like, oh, you're so silly, you're on cloud 9, blah blah blah, you believe in astrology, oh my god, oh gross, you believe in astrology, oh my god, just, you're not worthy of dating, like, just go away. Like, people like that, you know, I mean, obviously it's gonna be a turn off for a Pisces, or because what if the Pisces is into astrology? You know what I'm saying? And people can be into what they're into. I mean, it's 2021. People can be into what they're into. Like, if someone's into sports and all that, you know, I say, okay, good for them. You know, they're not going around killing a bunch of people. I like certain sports, but I'm not going to watch sports all day, every day. I'm into what I'm into. You know what I'm saying? So you can be into whatever you're into. But if you have a problem with me being into what I'm into, I really couldn't give a shit. I really could care less, because it is what it is. And people have been into astrology. Certain cultures have been into astrology for a very, very long time. The ancient Egyptians, ancient Babylonians, Greeks, the Romans, like, all into astrology. Like, it's been used as a science and all that. And I'm not going to sit here and argue with people about, oh, is it valid? Oh, it's made up. It's not real. Because when I look at my life and I assess certain situations and people and study their charts, study their astrological charts, and then study our encounters with each other, I notice lots of similarities and patterns of people within certain zodiac signs. And it doesn't feel like, oh, it's just a coincidence. No, like, it's real. It's definitely real. And you can say, oh, well, some people that are into astrology are crazy, but, you know, at the end of the day, if that's what you want to think, you can think like that. I really could care less. I'm not here to convince you. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm just gonna keep on rolling and doing what I'm doing, honey. All right? So, obviously, I'm going to have to do another video in the future, because Pisces people, like, I only scratched the surface. Like, these people are deep. They're really deep and complex. I'd say Pisces people are not the norm, or like, you can't really read them, like, even when it comes to dating. That's why it's a bit difficult sometimes to describe them, because they're all different from each other. Each Pisces is different, and you don't necessarily know what you're gonna get, like, in terms of friendship or dating with them, because they're all individualists, and they all have their own kind of quirks, and their dating style isn't even concrete as well. But, you know, they just need to be careful around the substances for sure, and because they can change into a completely different person. It'll be like Gemini. If they take a certain substance and they overdo it, they can change into a completely different person, like a different face, different mask, all that. And also, since they are transformers, it throws people off a bit because they don't know who they're dealing with sometimes with Pisces. And the illusions, the imaginary world, people sometimes find that Pisces isn't very authentic because they find the Pisces is stuck in their illusions or their art, their illusionary world or their dream world a bit. They're stuck in their dream world a bit. So some people aren't really attracted to that because it's like, some people, when it comes to dating, they want someone that's more grounded and stable, or they want someone that's more normcore, a more normie kind of person. So if they find someone that's a bit opposite of that, they won't go for like a Pisces that's not very normie, that's more of the artistic, dreamy Pisces. They might not go for someone like that. But there's definitely a lot of people that will go for the dreamy, artsy Pisces, and a lot of people like that out there because they see the value in someone who is more expressive, more artistic. They definitely see the value in that, and it adds color, life, expression, and dimension to their own life and to their own experience. That's why they want to date someone who's more out there like that. All right. So, last but certainly not least is Scorpio. So, one of the first things that I've noticed with Scorpios is that you can feel their presence in the room. You can feel their presence in the room. You will be around so many people at a party, at an event, but there will be that one person that has a completely different vibe, completely different energy, and completely different vibe to everyone else in that party, in that room. And that is a Scorpio. That is a Scorpio, because the thing I notice with Scorpio is they don't follow along with what everyone is doing and where everyone's going. Just because someone's going here and, oh, this is a popular place and everyone's going here, the Scorpio might be going in the opposite direction, like away from the crowd, away from the noise, away from everybody. They're like, I don't give a shit, you know? And everyone's looking like, you don't give a shit. And the Scorpio's like, yeah, I don't give a shit. And that's one of the reasons why people like them, because I mean, no one wants to be dating someone who is always complacent, always agreeing, like yes, like a yes person, just to like appear nice or to appear like a good citizen or a good role model, like someone that's always agreeing. Yes, like I agree, and oh my God, you're so right. Like a Scorpio wants to know, like, do you have any kind of unique opinions, or do you have things about you that even people might dislike that, but it's like you have your own character, you have your own you have your own person, like your own persona, and you're unapologetic about it, or you know, you're just okay with expressing who you are. So I think Scorpio wants to know that if a Scorpio likes you, they want to go deep. And since they want to go deep with people, like especially if they like certain people, they want to go deep, it can kind of scare people off a bit, because it's like, oh my gosh, this person is really interested in me. And sometimes you don't really come across that in this day and age, like fast food dating culture. Like it is kind of rare for people to be so into you or find out all these things about you. And sometimes Scorpios they want to know, and they want to find out what you're good at or where your talents lie, even your weaknesses, everything. So, I mean, obviously, sometimes, you know, people are intimidated by it, or they find it to be a bit intrusive. And, but I find with Scorpio people, they can read energy very well. So, I mean, you don't really have to communicate with them. They will kind of know by your vibe and by your energy the type of person you are. And they might not pick up on everything, because they can't pick up on everything. They're not superhuman, but they will pick up on your vibe and energy. And they'll be reading you and observing you. They're observing many different things about you, how you interact with people, how you carry yourself, how you communicate. They'll be watching for your strengths and your weaknesses. So yes, very observant, kind of like Cancer. They might even test you a bit. So they might test you in terms of like your emotions. Like they might do the whole emotional thing like Cancer, or they might do like situationships. They'll test you in all kinds of ways. And obviously, like, some people, when they say, oh, I don't want to date Scorpio, like, there's a lot of people that say that because they're a bit intimidated by Scorpios. They're a bit, it's like, it's like, when you're playing that video game and you meet the final boss and you have to defeat the final boss. It's kind of like that. It's very intimidating. So a lot of people are thrown off by it. They're scared by it. But Scorpios don't really like weak individuals. So you need to have some kind of backbone to you. And you need to be able to express yourself around them. They want to really know you on a deep level. They don't just want to know, like, if they're really interested in you, it's not just a fling. If they're really interested in you, they're gonna take their time. They're not just gonna jump into it. Like, they're gonna invest their time in getting to know you. It's not like they're gonna be serious about it. They're gonna be like zoning in on you and all this, and like watching you. They have those eyes. They have those eyes that's like watching you, like staring into your soul and all that. Some people find that attractive. Some people find it creepy, and they get scared and shy and run away. So, I mean, Scorpio clearly is not for everybody when it comes to dating and relationships, because I do find that they do have a certain standard and expectation, and I guess it's normal to have standards and expectations in certain relationships. It's healthy to have it, but I do find sometimes that they want a perfect partner, and perfect does not exist. And a lot of signs want a perfect partner, not just Scorpio. But I do find with Scorpio, they seek perfection too much, and they end up getting disappointed because perfection does not exist. So, for example, Scorpio might tell you, oh, I like really. It might be a Scorpio male, a man. He might say, I love attractive women, beautiful, natural women with beautiful body, lovely face, pretty face. She looks good in all kinds of outfits. She carries herself well, but, she also has to have that personality. She also has to have some kind of personality to her. She has to, she can't be fake bimbo. She can't be a fake bimbo. So, like, the thing is, in life, this is personally for myself, okay, this is personal. In life, I've met people that have certain skills, certain talents in certain areas, and they might be lacking in other areas. But they're really good at this. So they can teach you about investing. They can teach you about real estate, finance. However, their personality is lacking. They aren't very approachable. They aren't very emotionally responsive. They don't, they wouldn't be a good actor. However, they are savvy and business, like in business, they're good in business and real estate, finance, investments. So, I say take the goodness out of people, take the good, and don't expect them to be perfect. They pick at people to see those flaws. They want them to be revealed. So I don't know if the Scorpio actually enjoys, actually enjoys finding out those flaws and moving on. Maybe the Scorpio can move on once they find out. I don't know. Or maybe they're just gonna leave once they find out the flaws, and it's gonna be, okay, well, you showed me your true colors, so I can leave now. Whatever it is, you know, I guess that's how some Scorpios are. But I personally, like, I've learned, I know it's difficult because you want people to be perfect and them to be fair, equal, but I've learned to just not expect so much out of everyone. You know, I've learned, it's hard sometimes, but I've learned to do it. And I'm not saying it's easy, like, I'm not acting like it's easy, but you take the good from what people can give you, certain life lessons, certain skills, trades, certain kind of advice from them. You take the good. You kind of have to let go of the bad a bit. You kind of have to sort through that. You know, you might not even want to talk to the person after you had the bad interaction or find out bad things that they've done. You might not even want to speak to them again, but you kind of have to move on with your life. That's what I'm saying. You have to move on with your life. Don't dwell on it, because life is so much more. And I know I didn't come here to dwell on the past too much. Yes, I can go back in the past, but at some point I'm gonna have to move on and continue with my life. You know, not get hung up on petty things, you know, because petty things will always be there, and disappointments and evil and the ugliness of people and society will always be there. But there's always good too. There's always good. There's so much good around us. There is people out here doing good things. And yeah, they might not be perfect. And I'm not going to expect them to be perfect because I'm not perfect. You know? So I think that's just something to be aware of, Scorpio. Because I do find that it's a whole kind of emotional thing or mental thing with Scorpio sometimes. You know, they're really deep and complex, but at the same time, I find that they're not for everyone. They're definitely not for everyone when it comes to dating. And like, if they're unhealthy, they can use emotions or certain things against you, kind of like with Cancer. They can kind of trigger you or say things that is really, really rude or hurtful, because it's like, well, they don't give a shit. It's like, oh, you disappointed me, so I'm gonna get you back. And then when they want to get you back, they're gonna make sure it hurts. They're not gonna just, it's not gonna be like a little like, oh, no. They're gonna make sure it hurts, right? So just be careful, because if you disappoint them and all that, or you betray them, not just in a dating, even friendship, like, they're gonna be really pissed, and they're gonna seek revenge because they're kind of vengeful. Some Scorpios dress in dark colors, or they dress in classic tones and colors. So maybe like royal blue, wine red colors, black, maroon. So they do well in dark colors or powerful, bold colors, especially like red. Powerful, bold colors, because they have strong leadership qualities, strong leadership traits. And they are very confident usually. And they're confident in themselves. They don't need a backup crew like Jim and Joanne and Sally behind them. They're confident in themselves. That's why they stand out when they're in a crowd. That's why you feel them in a party or in a group. Like, you feel their energy because they're confident within themselves. They don't need a cheer squad. They don't need a cheer squad to be confident in who they are. They know who they are. And that's why it pisses people off, because a lot of people are insecure. They're not sure of themselves. They care about what everyone thinks. A Scorpio doesn't care. They are who they are. Take it or leave it, you know? So I find that when it comes to partners, they can go for all kinds. They can go for the shy, the shy girl, the more reserved girl, because maybe with a Scorpio, they can feel like the dominant one with that shy person. So they can feel like the dominant, the more masculine one, they can feel like the one that is more of the protector, the one that is more of the guardian of the shy person. So they like the shy people, or the quiet people, because since Scorpios are a bit like they're leaders, they don't necessarily want to be bossed around by someone. Scorpio knows what they want to do, and they're in control of their own life, and you can't control that because they march to the beat of their own drum, obviously. So if you're like a bossy type of person, you probably might have issues dating a Scorpio, whether it's a female or male, because the Scorpio doesn't want to be controlled or restricted. They have their own personality, their own kind of traits, their own expression, so don't try to restrict them in like who they are and all that. Be controlling, brainwash them, because they can already pick up on your vibe, and they can already read your energy, so they can tell if you're that person as well, and they can tell if you're going to do that. So don't do it. And they like honest people. They like honest, open people. The only thing is, some people find that when they're dating a Scorpio, it's like the Scorpio asks them a lot of questions, but then they don't reveal anything to them. So the Scorpio might be asking the person they're interested in like lots of questions, question after question, but they don't reveal anything to that person. Or when that person asks, the Scorpio is a bit reserved. Scorpio's like, I'm not going to share it with you, even though I asked you like 100 questions before. I'm going to play it cool, so that's the thing with Scorpio. It's like they always want the upper hand sometimes, because they don't want to reveal too much about themselves, but they want to know everything about you. They want to know everything about you, but they're gonna hold back, and they're not gonna reveal everything about who they are, because then you get the upper hand, and they don't want you to have the upper hand. They want the upper hand. So that's the thing. Like, some people, like, you can still get information out of them, but they're very clever, so they know how to manipulate things, and they know how to lie very well. So yeah, that's another thing to be aware of. And I know, like, some Scorpios, when they present themselves, they like to present themselves in a way that's like, oh, we're like, what they say, that even if they're evolved and all that, oh, I'm perfect and all that, but, and I won't, like, I'm so evolved and blah, blah, blah. But, they're also evolved in manipulation and the mind games. They're evolved in the emotional tactics and all that. They're not just evolved, okay? They're evolved, like, in psychology, spirituality. So when a Scorpio says they're evolved, just make sure you know what kind of evolved they are. You know what I'm saying? Because they're evolved in many ways, okay? Like, it's not just one way. No, they're evolved in many ways. So I don't let that fool me when they tell me, I'm spiritual, I do this and that, I do yoga, I meditate, I donate to kids, or I'm a spiritual leader, I teach Tai Chi, I teach Reiki, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Or I do hypnotism. I'm like, okay. Because for me, when someone says they're evolved and all that, I'm like, how evolved are you to the point where you can mess with someone's head? You know what I'm saying? Because this is one of those signs that can mess with your head. Like, psychologically mess with your head. So just be aware of that when they say they're evolved. Oh, I'm evolved. Okay, I'm in this stage in my life. Okay, well, evolved. I don't take that word and as like, I don't take it as like they're evolved. I'm observing them. I'm seeing how evolved they are. I'm seeing what they're saying. I'm seeing how they treat other people. I'm seeing how they treat me. And I'm observing them too. I'm asking them questions too. Because I don't let words cloud my mind or cloud my judgment. I don't let words shape how I perceive people. Because they're telling me, oh, I'm this, I'm that, blah, 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 blah. I'm looking at your actions. I'm not reading the words. Because actions speak louder sometimes. Okay? Actions speak louder. All right? So just be aware of that, because anyone can say they're evolved. I can say I'm evolved. My neighbor can say he's evolved. Your mother can say she's evolved. But everyone has flaws, and that's normal. And people are going to have to either take the flaws and move on with their life, or be mature and move on with it, or they can get stuck on the flaw and nitpick over and over and over again. Fight, argue, be petty, start drama, waste time when you could be making money. You can be starting a business. You can be forming all kinds of relationships, amazing partnerships and connections with people. But you want to get stuck on this one flaw, this one freaking petty flaw, and play it out over and over again. That one time you did so and so and so. Come on now. Come on. Move on with your life. Okay? Have something different about you if you want to date a Scorpio. Be different in what it could be. Your expression, it could be your how you dress, but be confident as well. Don't be, you can be shy too. Some Scorpios like the shy people, but have something different about you, because when they're conversing, discussing things, they want to find out your talents, where your talents lie, what you're good at, how you express and communicate in this world. Do you have any hobbies or unique things about you? They also like to find out the unique things about you, or they kind of like to see beauty in your differences, or see beauty in things that society doesn't see as beautiful. I find that with Scorpios, they might find beauty in things that society deems as ugly even, or society might deem as unacceptable, So you might think that, oh, a Scorpio would never like this about me, but you don't know. You don't know, they might like it about you. Even if you would think, oh, this is an ugly feature on my body, this is, or this kind of makes me look weird, like the Scorpio might like that. You don't know. You have to find out and see. So I find that sometimes they do like distinct features on people, distinct kind of things about individuals, stuff that stands out a bit. And if you're too generic, too predictable, you could lose a Scorpio, because a Scorpio might be like, you're cut and paste, copy dry, you're kind of a normie and you don't have a backbone or any kind of opinions to you. So some Scorpios are like that. It really depends, because not all Scorpios are the same, but I do find certain Scorpios like people that have strong opinions, strong beliefs, and they will kind of communicate about things. They want someone that they can communicate certain things with. So they also want to know if you can keep secrets, if you're able to keep certain information and guarded a bit, because they are private individuals and they don't want to have everything aired out to the whole world. So it's good, like if you're dating them, it's kind of like an exclusive relationship, and they might have their own secret language with you, or they might communicate in a certain way only with you, not with anyone else, just only with you. So you need to be able to read between the lines And you don't always have to communicate with your mouth. Like, sometimes you can communicate with your vibe or just your eyes, you know. You don't always have to be so talkative with them. So if you're like a very chatty sign, like maybe a fire sign or air sign that likes to talk a lot, and you're kind of weirded out by the Scorpio's silence, just know that their silence is normal sometimes, because they are very introspective, just like with certain earth signs and Cancer and Pisces. They can be introspective with their thoughts, their emotions. So when they're introspective, they're not going to be communicating what they're thinking. They're processing it internally. They're going through the works internally. So that's normal. And a lot of people are like that. And so when you go through those silences, just know that it's normal. Okay? And unless, you know, if you feel a Scorpio is upset about something, you can ask them if they're upset. But sometimes they are internal thinkers, internal in terms of like emotion and all that. And they feel deeply about certain things as well. You need to be understanding of that. Since Scorpios can read between the lines and read people very well, if they notice some things they've been observing for a while, and they notice that certain people have been acting a certain way, have been betraying them, have been doing things, and they don't like it, obviously the Scorpio is going to say something, or going to just cut things off, end things, move on, say something, I don't know. But they're not just going to forget. They're not just going to forget the negative things that people have done to them, or the bad betrayals, the bad kind of energy that was thrown at them. That's why they will act out. They will seek out and take out that revenge. They will tell someone off, even if it's a stranger sometimes, whatever it is, even if they don't know the person, but they've heard things, they've been observing. So maybe that's why the Scorpio will act out. And other times it's because they've been wronged. Because they've been wronged, because they've been betrayed, they will take out that revenge. Because they feel it's just. As a Capricorn, because of Saturn deals with karma. And I noticed that when people have done certain things to me in the past, I don't necessarily have to take out revenge. Something happens to people that have wronged me, and I don't necessarily have to take out revenge. It's Saturn, it's karma. And it ends up swinging back and hitting people. I'm already out the door. I'm done with them. But the karma follows them. It might not be immediate, but it follows them. So that's the thing with karma and Capricorn and Saturn. Because if you look at the tarot card, Capricorn is the devil in tarot. The devil card. And that comes with lots of life lessons. That comes with trials and tribulations. It's not easy. And no one said it was going to be easy, but I decided to incarnate here as a Capricorn. So, yeah, and it comes with a lot of life lessons. But one of the lessons is karma. One of the lessons is, like, when you're dealing with a Capricorn, you're dealing with Saturn, you're dealing with karma. So I always watch myself when I'm around other Capricorns. I watch what I say. I don't try to be perfect, but I do watch what I say. I watch how I treat them and all that. One other thing that I'd like to add is water signs are touchy-feely, and they like to be close with their partners. So they like to show their affection. You know, they're very Like, they might not do it in public, but they want to basically, you know, be close with you, be connected with you, look into your eyes. They want to look into your eyes. They want to hold your hand, hug you, all that kind of stuff. So you have to be a kind of warm individual, like receptive to that, because if you shy away and have issues with like affection and all that, that's a turn off for a water sign, because since, you know, they're a bit emotional and all that, they want to feel your energy and your warmth, and so they'll be touching you, they'll be hugging you. Like if you're dating and you're in a romantic relationship with a water sign, be okay with that kind of affection, show that affection with them, be accepting if they give you that kind of affection. All right. With Scorpio people, Scorpio is like, in terms of like, one of those things they're known for is that kind of sexual energy. Or if the placement on the body for Scorpio is the genital area. The placement on the body for Cancer is the stomach. Placement on the body for Pisces is the feet. And I have these like pearls. Maybe this is more Cancer, but I know it's really weird like showing my feet on camera. But hey, some people are into it, right? Just joking. But yeah, so if you want to accentuate those areas, if you're dating water sign, I mean, you can do that, but that's just some info for you on like the placement on the body for those signs. It's not just sex with Scorpio. They're known for like death, rebirth, and all that, and sex, and shadows, the hidden, like secrets, occults. Scorpios are known for that. Since they deal with sex as well, they do like partners that have a bit of sex appeal, or they're confident in their sexuality. They like people that are confident in their sexuality. They like people that are open in the bedroom, like adventurous, or have stamina, like can last a long time. So you can't be a burnout, like you have to keep up with them. You need to go deep in the bedroom, just as they can go deep with you. Like when it comes to conversations, you need to be able to go deep with them in the bedroom. They might be shy at first, but over time they'll open up, and like you'll learn, oh my god, this person's like such a freak, and you know. But that's not surprising, because come on, like it's Scorpio, so some of them are major freaks and all that, and you might have to be okay with that, because if you're not, then it's like, oh, the Scorpio can't be who they are around you, and it might be a turn off for them. So just be aware that they might be very adventurous in the bedroom, or just be a bit crazy, like, or sadistic. Maybe they might be into BDSM or something really out there. So Cancer people, when it comes to dating and all that, they can be freaky as well, but I find with Cancers it's more like spanking, you know. Oh, you're such a bad girl, you're such a bad boy. Like they spank you and all that. But I mean, it's not dark like Scorpio. It doesn't get that dark like Scorpio. Like freaking leather straps and bondage and all that. Pisces people, you don't know what you're gonna go with Pisces. That's all I'm gonna say. It can be anything, because they're so random. It might involve like painting naked. It might involve food and all this kind of stuff. And you might be outdoors in the woods and all that, like, you know, really random. You might be on the beach. You might be in a car, just random. You don't know when you're gonna get it off with Pisces, because these people are random as hell. And They don't care about how random they are, so they're going to take you on an adventure. They might even take you to another dimension because they might be spiritual, and they might have a kind of like, they might have a vibe and stuff to where they take you to another dimension if you're with them, and you're like, they'll bring you into their world, their dream world, when they're with you. So that can be an amazing experience. You know, if you're making love to a Pisces and all of a sudden you feel like you're in another world, in their dimension. And you need to be okay with that. You might not be able to prepare for it, but it's going to be fun. Just say, oh, I'm going to have a good time, you know, regardless of how wacky it seems, and try it out. You never know. You might like it. You might end up wanting to stay there forever. Yeah. So, I think I covered a lot in this video. Obviously, I will have more to talk about in the future because there's so much to get into and there's only so much time. And I know this video is probably very long. Feel free to subscribe if you like my astrology content. I'll be doing some more videos in the future. Last but not least will be air signs. I can't wait to do the air sign video talking about Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. So that will be coming up soon. And if you want to watch my fire sign, earth sign one, those are already up on the channel. So yeah, feel free to subscribe and like the video. Click the bell notification if you want to get updates for when I post new content. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.